Hello everybody, welcome to Man Manga Boy Read Manga, should you? Anyways, let's get underway here. And of course, please like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoy any of these manga and you'd like to pick them up, please use my affiliate link down below in the description box there. Anyways, let's start with Under Ninja by Kengo Hanazawa. He is the same author of as I Am Hero. You can see a cat on a skateboard. You know that this is a good manga, and I'm going to strongly recommend checking this series out. This manga is about this ninja who is like in high school, I guess. And he is trying to increase his rankings. Meanwhile, there's like a deeper plot going on that's like actually important, and nobody really seems to know what's going on. They've got this foreigner guy here who has 3 balls, I guess. This homeless guy who's like actually a really skilled ninja who just drinks his own breast milk in the park. You have everything kind of coming together. I'm gonna sneeze. You have this guy here who is like writing these tales from ninja who are trying to get famous. So they're breaking to his house and like making it so they can't see him. So he's wearing like a little patch over his eye. It's like a sleeping mask. And he's like, the story started off very cool. And then they slowly started to get more and more lame as they came. You've got these horned up elementary school / middle schooler boys in it. Just an overall blast. I definitely recommend checking out this series. It's like this mundane kind of a manga storytelling mixed with, you know, like some intense action as well, and like enough mystery to keep you really kind of interested in what's happening next. It's all so weird too, so that it's the extra layer of positivity to it, in my opinion. We have JJK, Volume 20. If you're not reading JJK, I mean, are you even a manga fan at that point? So we have quite a few characters in here. We've got Ishigori, he's on the cover. Yuta's in here. There's this girl who can bend air. That's this lady right here. We also have Megumi kind of fighting this receipt guy. He collects receipts and he can like bring the things back as long as he has the receipt. So that match finishes up. Forget that match. That match was cool last volume. Forget it now. The real cool stuff's happening here. So yeah, we've got Ishigori versus Yuta and Rika, and then there's this girl who can bend air in here as well, which is really seeming like it would be an OP power, but no, it's all about this guy who's got the pompadour, and he uses the pompadour as a cannon. He can shoot blasts out of it. He is nuts. I've had a humongously good time reading through this fight and this arc as a whole. We have a 3 domain expansion against each other, which is absolutely insane. But, you know, I just cannot believe how great Ishigori is. And, you know, the fact that this match, the culling it's called, is pulling together sorcerers who have died, you know, from hundreds of years ago is just like the smartest move ever, because a lot of these characters are very cool, you know, and very interesting to see how them fight, you know, being reincarnated and things like that. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say. Strongly recommend this series. I would say probably start slow. It doesn't really start that slow in my opinion, but you know, it slows down-ish. And it stays pretty good, and then it gets to the incident. Oh shoot, I can't remember what town it is. Ikebukuro incident, maybe? I can't remember exactly which city it is in Japan, but there's a certain incident. And Shibuya incident, maybe it is, and it is just absolutely nuts. There's no way you don't know what I'm talking about if you have any interest in this series. That next season, or part 2 of season 2, is going to cover it, and it is going to be phenomenal. Once you get to that point, you're just smooth sailing. But you know, everything up until then is good. It's not bad, but then once you get past it, holy shit. Especially with that guy who can like make people's body parts change and things like that. That guy's kind of nuts, but he has been MIA for quite a while now. Cromarty High School. You may remember this series from the last time I did one of these. Cromarty High School is another series I strongly recommend. It is absolutely batshit insane. Why do I only read crazy people manga? I don't know what's going on here. This one has this ongoing joke about like how they invented the sumo rap. And they say it's because this guy went up against a knight in armor, And he didn't have armor, so he had none, and the other guy had armor, and then he won, and then he's like, yeah, just because I'm poor doesn't mean I can't be a sumo, I can't win in this contest. So then he said everybody doesn't wear armor, they just have to wear that belt, and they name it after him, and everyone's like, that's not the story though. And they never tell you what the story is, and that adds to it even more so. They then eventually bring in the gorilla to the sumo tournament. Also, there's this little break from sumo. And we have, Mekazawa, and he's changing all these shapes. First he's a rectangle, then he's like this octagonal thing, and then he's a triangle. And they're like, what the heck's going on? They're trying to figure it out. They also film a movie. I forgot about this. They cast Maeda as like this gigantic man, and he has to eat like 40 eggs or something like that. And they're like, oh, that makes sense, but why would he need to eat so many eggs in this movie? And then they're like, yeah, it's just part of the movie, he has to eat it. And so they watch the movie after it's all done being filmed, and they're like, that made no sense. It's just so funny. Anyways, I'm doing a disservice trying to explain the series to you. It is quite humorous though. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're a fan of shock comedy and just comedic manga in general. Difficult to find these days because it is out of print, but I strongly recommend it. It is available on like websites where you can read manga that is maybe unofficially translated, some might say. I strongly recommend checking out one way or another though. Dan Volume 4. I've been a big advocate of this series since the first volume. You've got this nice little rainbow. Essentially the main character, who is the glasses man, swirly glasses from Ego Raptor's videos. It's him right there. He gets possessed by this turbo granny. It's her right there. And she takes his manhood, so he's got no balls anymore. Okay, now he's on a quest to get his balls back. And this other girl right here, she also is what's the word for it? Possessed. And so I don't know if she's lost anything, but yeah, she's possessed and she's got these superhuman abilities. And then there's Momo Ayase, who originally doesn't believe in aliens, and now she believes in aliens. Swirly Glasses doesn't believe in the occult. He thinks the occult for fucking morons. No, aliens are real. She says, aliens are for fucking morons. The occult, that's what's real. So that's how the two kind of meet. Turns out they're both real. Joke's on them. And so they have been intertwined into their life. You can see here that this cow is being taken by the saucer. Granny here, that's the grandma right here, is like, yep, that was an alien. And then the main character is like, the Kappa is said to be an alien. And it's just back and forth. We get a few kind of mysteries here. One has this like anatomy model who is haunted and trying to get to this like girl mannequin, and he runs across at like 5 a.m. They introduce this guy who I think is like really annoying, but like this face. He makes his face a few times, and I think he's like so funny and so annoying all at the same time. And then there's this creepy guy who keeps coming up, who's I guess haunting his house or something like that. And I don't know anything about him yet, but this gives me nightmares. Like Slenderman, that's him right there in his fucking underwear. Yeah, he's gonna kill me. That's what like the vibe I get. And you can see he's fucking freaked from it. Anyways, I know I'm not doing a super good job today of explaining things, I guess, but I do strongly recommend this series. It is batshit insane though. This is one of those series where I feel like if you are a fan of Shonen Jump, people are talking about this series and you're probably picking it up or at least have heard of it. This, JJK, Kaiju number 8, probably, some of the top releases going on right now. I feel like Shonen Jump has really hit a recent stride in their series releases currently. So yeah, strongly recommend pretty much everything we've talked about so far. So, why not bump it into some controversial stuff? Sayonara Football, Farewell, My Dear Cramer. Last time I think I said I mixed recommended it. This time I'm gonna have to say I just flat out, don't recommend it. I really like the characters in here. They go through a training arc, which is fine. They go, after they finish the training arc, they are in another tournament, which, is not anything new. They don't really introduce any new characters. It makes me wonder if this series got canceled. And I hate to kind of spoil the ending here, but what ends up happening is they're in this qualifier to get into this tournament to then get to nationals, and then it just ends before it even starts. And there are these few matches that happen in between, and they're like, and they won this match, and they won that match. And I'm like, was this canceled? Like, what the heck? And they hype it up too. They're like, oh, we're going to get into this rematch against this team that we lost against earlier. And I'm like, oh, sweet. They barely lost against that team. This is going to be epic. And what happens? But it's like, start. And I'm like, listen, this isn't even like the championship for the nationals. This is like the pre-qualifiers to get into the tournament, to get into nationals. What? And like, they don't finish it. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I can't really recommend a series like that where it almost has no payoff. So they do the training camp, and then the training camp, and then the very first match they're going to show you, it ends. You know, like, so did the training camp, it worked? So I'm like, okay, good concept, good characters. What happened here? Maybe it's because soccer just isn't that popular. Maybe because women's soccer is not popular, got canceled. I can't tell you. I have no idea what happened, why it just ends. It just flat out ends. Don't read this. It starts off really good. I think it's got a really cool message, but don't read it. It doesn't end. And it's not that it's like on a hiatus or anything like that. And I haven't seen anywhere that's like got canceled, but Persona 5 Mementos Mission, it ended. It's only 3 volumes long. It's, you know, one of those series where it kind of just tries to tie the side stories in to one story from Persona 5. I would only recommend this series if you have played Persona 5 and beaten it, or played a significant amount of Persona 5 anyways. The stories being tied together is not something I feel like that is necessary that needs to be done, but interesting that it was. I read through it. I thought it was an interesting time. Mixed feelings about it overall. I would, still really only recommend it to people who really are a huge fan of Persona 5. It's okay. Now, a la carte. Now this I recommend. This is hilarious. I thought this was like really funny. This is just a bunch of 4 comas. I flew through this. I think that this was a great blast. If you're to get any Persona 5 manga, surprisingly, it should be Persona 5 a la carte. This series is top tier. I recommend this one even if you haven't beaten the game. It has references to the older Persona games in here as well. It has references to the game. It has references to things that don't make sense in the game. It's just an overall fun series made by multiple artists, just poking fun at Persona 5 and other things about Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, which is quite a blast, actually. Very refreshing. Gantz, Volume 6, with my favorite team on the cover again. I love this. Muscle Man Rider shows up finally to take on the yokai demons. Muscle Man Rider. So this is a really sad one about this kid who gets killed by his like stepdad / mom's boyfriend for eating pudding. That it was actually very sad. Again, Gantz is very bloody and violent, so you should know that going into it. I really do recommend this series though if you are a fan of this. If this looks good to you right here, this is Gantz. Okay, that's Gantz. A lot of memes originated through here, and there is just tons of badass moments in Gantz. I really recommend it. You can see like this guy's not even dead. Like, it's just absolutely insane, some of this stuff. So yeah, definitely check out Gantz if any of this stuff looks cool to you. This is one of my highest recommended series. I feel like everybody should at least try a volume or so. The main character is really a lot less of a dick by this point on, and the kind of the point is the main character starts off as a huge jerk and kind of develops into a more likable person. I won't tell you he's like this really big likable guy by the end, but he's certainly nicer. But yeah, I really just like the amount of action in here, the absurdity to the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, here we go. We have a lot of highly recommended manga this week. So you can tell it was a blast for me to read through it. But yeah, really, I would steer kind of clear of these two unless you're a big fan of these works. Again, Sayonara Football had a lot of promise to me. From the beginning, I recommended it, but as I got further into it, I was like starting to not add up. And then you get to the end, you're like, it forgot to end. And the same thing with Persona 5 Memento's Mission. It's like, why do these characters need to have any sort of relationship, you know, aside from just, you know, being associated to the main character? It doesn't seem necessary. But sure, you know, if that's something that you were looking for in your Persona 5 game and you found that lacking, you can grab it there. But otherwise, the rest of it, check them out like immediately. Tons of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down below if you agree with my comments about these series. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you find any of these interesting and you want to check them out, definitely use my affiliate link in the description box. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.